Page 212, chapter 495. Seeking permission is to avoid unlawful looking. 1070. Sahal bin Sa'ad said, a man looked through a gap in the door of the Prophet ﷺ while the Prophet ﷺ had a comb with which he was scratching his hair. When the Prophet ﷺ saw the man, he said, if I had known that you were peeping at me, I would have stabbed you in the eye with this. And 1071, the Prophet ﷺ said, the permission is sought for the sake of the eye, that one should not look at a thing prohibited to see.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وعلى من تبع هداهم إلى يوم الدين. After praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and passing salutation upon His Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, this is a continuation for what Al-Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah had continued from the previous chapter regarding the seeking permission when you enter the house. It shows you that the Islam is concerned about the house privacy, which is very important. And now he says, باب الاستئذان من أجل النظر. That is, why we seek permission to enter the houses of others, the houses of somebody else, is because of, that is to look, because of not to put our eyes on something that the person who is the owner of the house doesn't want you to put your eyes onto. So, here, باب الاستئذان من أجل النظر. He says, عن سهل بن سعد أن رجلا اطلع من جحر في باب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. A man looked from a hole in the door of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Prophet of Allah, he has midra. And midra is like a comb with a pointed end. It's got a pointed end. يحك به رأسه. It's like a comb. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as soon as he saw him, he said, لو أعلم أنك تنظرني لطعنت به في عينك. If I know that you are looking at me, I would have poked you with that comb which has got the pointed end into your eye. And then 1071, verily, إِنَّمَا جُعِلَ الْإِذْنُ مِنْ أَجْلِ الْبَصَرِ. Verily, the permission was made for the sake of that, to look. So here, the person, when he knocks on the door of someone, in order not to have the look, is to step aside from the door. Because he might open the door, and then this person will be there to look at something that the owner of the house doesn't want you to look at. And the eye which is sneaking to look through the door keyholes or the door cracks or like for example a hole into the wall, all of that, this eye has no sanctity for it. That means it deserves to be poked. And just to refute the argument of those people who say that the Prophet of Allah, when he did this, that is, almost he poked him. If you remember, we talked about last week, the arrow he took the Prophet ﷺ and he almost poked the eye of the man. So just to refute the argument of those people who say this is being done just for the sake of exaggeration. No exaggeration here. This is reality. Meaning, if the Prophet of Allah poked the eye of the man, that man has no retaliation, okay, and can't retaliate, nor he has the permission to seek compensation. He has no right for that. So the Islam had made the deterrence of such an act, that is to peep into somebody's house, is your eye will lose its sanctity. That means the person is allowed to poke your eye. And so there is no such thing as called exaggeration. And here as well, we find that the seeking of the permission is for looking. So if was peeping into the houses is allowed, what is the point of seeking permission? Do you understand? If peeping into the house is allowed, what is the point of seeking permission? Seeking the permission was made for that sake, that is, not to look. So seeking the permission is for that sake. إِنَّمَا جُعِلَ الْإِذْنُ مِنْ أَجْلِ الْبَصَرِ. Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah says regarding this hadith, regarding the ayah in Surah An-Nur, which talks about the seeking of the permission, that he says, verily, after Allah talk about, if you remember, seeking the permission 3 times on those times, and after that Allah Azza wa Jal, He prohibited, that is, to look, and He commanded us to lower our gaze, not to look at the awrah, and to protect our private part from the zina. It's just like the linkage, he says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, just like you're not allowed to look into the awrah of a person, to go see through his clothes, you're not allowed to look as well into the privacy of a house, because the house in itself is just like the clothes. So the house, when you are into it, is like you are into your clothes. So you're not allowed to look at the person when he has no clothes, or to try to look within his person, within the clothes, to look at the awrah of the person. Same thing is not allowed to look as well inside the house, to penetrate the privacy of anybody else. So the house is a blessing, just like the clothes. A blessing is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He mentions that يا بني آدم قد أنزلنا عليكم لباسا يواري سوآتكم وريشا. O son of Adam, we have sent you a libas, that is clothes, warisha. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that the clothes is a blessing from Allah Azza wa Jal. Well, the animals, they don't have clothes, unless the people start putting clothes for the cats and the rats and whatever. But the animal, they don't have clothes. We have clothes. Also, we have shelter, houses. Same thing, this is as well a ni'mah. Just like we have the ni'mah of the clothes, we have the ni'mah of the house. You know, when the person locks the door on himself, you know, subhanAllah, it's a ni'mah, it's a great ni'mah. That's why he doesn't like to go and sleep in the street. People call homeless. You know, I mean, anybody could just sleep in the street. Nobody could sleep with 5 stars or more than 5 stars above him, you know, open skies. But he's not going to feel what the blessings. As soon as he locks the door, regardless of what house he's got, whether it is mansion or it's just a mere shack, just a tent. As soon as he locks the door, he is feeling what? The blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, every time he goes to the bed, one of his supplications, that he says, Alhamdulillah, alladhi at'amana, wa saqana, wa kafana, wa awana. That is, all praise to Allah. Alhamdulillah, that He had given us the food and the drink, and also He had sufficed us, and also He had given us the shelter, the house. So every time you remember that this is the house of the privacy of the house is a ni'mah, you say Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. As soon as you knock the door onto yourself. We're not like animals. Animals, they don't have the shelter, no, they have the clothes. They don't act like us, an animal to go and lock on the door on herself and not to prevent other animals to come to it. They don't have that ni'mah. Only us. So if it is the case, we need to feel the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon us. Right, going to the following, 1072.
1072, Anas radiallahu anhu said, a man looked through the gaps into the room of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam aimed an arrowhead at him, and the man withdrew his head.
And you remember, we have added this hadith to 1069. We said this is the same hadith. This is from Anas radiallahu anhu. Yes?
Yeah.
We said that the man, he looked into he peeped into the room of the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet of Allah. He threw at him a mishqas, and the man, he had pulled away. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said, verily, if you had stayed parked, I would have poked your eye. That's the hadith 1069. Now again, 496, the chapter?
Chapter 496, when a man greets another man in his room. 1073, Abu Musa radiallahu anhu said, I asked permission 3 times to come into Umar radiallahu anhu, and permission was not given to me. I went away. He called me back and said, Abdullah, is it hard on you to be kept waiting at my door? Know that people similarly find it hard to be kept waiting at your door. I said, I asked permission from you 3 times and it was not given to me, so I went away as we were commanded to do. Umar radiallahu anhu said, from whom did you hear this? I said, I heard it from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Umar radiallahu anhu said, did you hear from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam something that we did not hear? If you do not bring me a clear proof, I will punish you. I therefore went until I came to a group of the Ansar sitting in the mosque. I asked them and they said, "Does anyone doubt this?" I told them what Umar radiallahu anhu had said. They said, "Only the youngest of us will go with you." So Abu Sa'id al-Khudri.
So again, came to the Ansar, they were in the masjid, and I asked them, they said,
"Does anyone doubt this?"
No, go ahead.
I told them what Umar radiallahu anhu had said. They said, "Only the youngest of us will go with you." So Abu Sa'id al-Khudri or Abu Mas'ud accompanied me to Umar radiallahu anhu and said to him, we went out with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he was going to Sa'ad bin Ubadah. He gave the greeting and permission was not given to him. Then he greeted a second time and then a third time, but still it was not given to him. So the Prophet ﷺ said, "We have done what we must." Then he went back and Sa'ad caught up to him and said, "Messenger of Allah, by the one who sent you with the truth, every time you greeted me, I heard and I answered you, but I wanted to have much greeting, salam, from you for myself and the people of my house." Abu Musa radiallahu anhu said, "By Allah, I am trustworthy as regards the hadith of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam." Umar radiallahu anhu said, "Yes, but I wanted to make sure."
Is it kept up to him or kept it up with him? Sa'ad, when he said followed him, caught up to him, yes? Okay. The hadith is a more explanation of the hadith which we have discussed before, that is 1065. So 1065 is this with more wordings of it. We have explained 1065 thoroughly, but no problem to explain this again and add things that we need to add because of this long interpretation or long story. This is Abu Musa al-Ash'ari in the reign of the Khilafah of Umar al-Khattab. What is the name of Abu Musa al-Ash'ari? Abdullah ibn Qais. We just discussed it before. Okay. So Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, he came to Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, and he sought permission 3 times. And we have said in the 1065, we didn't mention the 3 times, but it looks like what? 3 times, which is in the hadith, in this narration, clearly it was 3 times. Then he left. So here Abu Musa himself is talking about what took place before. There was a narration about what happened to Abu Musa. He said, I sought permission 3 times on Umar, but permission wasn't granted, so I left. So he sent for me, and he said, Ya Abdullah, اشتد عليك أن تحتبس على بابي. Is it too much for you to wait, okay, onto my door? That means to wait until I give you the permission. He's telling him like, wouldn't you feel the same thing if I as well myself went to your door and I sought permission and I didn't wait, I just left? Don't you think you're going to be upset? Don't you think you're going to be, you should have waited a bit. So you sought 3 times. I mean, is it too much for you to wait a bit, to hold a bit longer? So if I did the same thing, would you like that? If I did as well, not 3 times and I left, would you like that? Would you like me for 2? So he said, Verily, اعلم إن أن الناس كذلك يشتد عليهم يحتبسوا على بابك. Verily, as well, the people will be as well too much for them to, as well to make themselves wait into your gate or to your door. So he said, Verily, I have sought permission 3 times and I wasn't granted the permission, and that's why I left. And there's an addition to that as well in the hadith, which is وَكُنَّا نُؤْمَرُ بِذَلِكَ, and we were commanded to do this. Was it there? I don't think so. Yes? Yes? And we are commanded to do that. Subhanallah. That's command from the Prophet ﷺ. وَكُنَّا نُؤْمَرُ means at the time of the Prophet. So he said, whom did you hear that from? So I heard it from the Prophet of Allah. He said, you heard from the Prophet of Allah something which we didn't hear. Because Umar al-Khattab, he is a greater companion, more senior companion, more time he spent with the Prophet of Allah. So it is too much for the Umar al-Khattab to say that I accompany the Prophet of Allah more than you. I am more than knowledgeable than you. I am more senior than you. Yet I didn't hear what you have just said. That is too much for Umar to take. That's what he said. And this shows us as well, sometimes even the great man, he misses something that the smaller in virtue, smaller in knowledge, he could remind him. No problem. Sometimes a little student, he might remind the scholar that you forgot that. There's no problem. So here, Umar Khattab, he's a great scholar compared to Abu Musa. Abu Musa is nothing. Abu Musa is less than Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud is less than Umar, radiallahu anhu. So Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, radiallahu anhu, he was encyclopedia. And Umar Khattab is more than encyclopedia. So here we find that this Abu Musa al-Ash'ari who used to say to Abu Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, I can't do anything without your command. If you remember, I can't do it, you're more companion than me. So how can it be that you, Abu Musa, you know something I didn't know? That's what he's saying. So, but did Umar wanted to belie him? No. He just wanted to what? To make sure. And it's a deterrence. If you remember, we talked about it's a deterrence for other people. Not to mess about with the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. So, he says, قال فخرجت حتى أتيت نفرا من الأنصار جلوسا في المسجد. I went to go to the masjid to seek the Ansar. So if you want to seek knowledgeable people and scholars and students knowledge, where do you go to? The masjid. He went to the masjid, he didn't go to anywhere else. He didn't go to knock on the doors. Do you remember? He went to the masjid because he knows that student knowledge will be hanging out in the masjid. You go to the markets, you find the chit-chat people hanging out in the market. That's where you want chit-chat, go to the market. You want masjid, you want people with ibadah and knowledge, you come to the masjid. So he came to the masjid to seek help because he knows the student knowledge there. The ones who have accompanied the Prophet ﷺ, he said, فَسَأَلْتُ, I asked about them, what is, regarding the seeking permission 3 times, if you haven't been granted the permission, you go home, you leave. He said, so all of them, he said, أَوَيَشُكُّ فِي هَذَا أَحَدٍ? Nobody would doubt that. Nobody knows this. So I told him what Umar al-Khattab, she said. I mean, you said that nobody would doubt that, but Umar al-Khattab had a doubt for that. So you say that nobody had doubt, Umar al-Khattab had a doubt. He said, okay, no one will go with us except our youngest. Now, this is not a humiliation to Umar al-Khattab. This is very, very important to think. Our youngest, I mean, our kid, the youngest amongst us, the one, because everybody knows about this. One who's younger, he will go to. No, this is actually, I would say, it's a favor, or I wouldn't say favor, it's a merit in the side of Umar al-Khattab. They're telling him that youngest, even Umar al-Khattab will believe him. He doesn't need Umar al-Khattab anybody who's senior, like, for example, Uthman, Affan, Ali ibn Abi Talib. No. The youngest, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, Umar al-Khattab what? He will believe him. Straight away. He will confirm what you have said. So يقوم معك أصغرنا Abu Sa'id. Here there's a narrator that says Abu Mas'ud or Abu Mas'ud. Abu Mas'ud, we know it's not Abu Mas'ud. Abu Mas'ud al-Ansari. It's not Abu Mas'ud, it is Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. So the correct is that the narrator, when he said or Abu Mas'ud, we say no, it is not Abu Mas'ud. We know from the other narrations it is Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anhu. So he said, that is Abu Sa'id, that means he went to Umar al-Khattab and he said in front of Umar al-Khattab the following: we went with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam one day and he wanted Sa'd ibn Ubadah. Sa'd ibn Ubadah is the leader of whom? Khazraj. And the leader of Aus? Sa'd ibn Mu'adh. Sa'd ibn Ubadah radiyallahu anhu. A man known radiyallahu anhu wardah, of his generosity. So he said he came to him. That means he came to him while he was in his house. فَسَلَّمْ. Sallam, that means you say salam. You remember we say salam and then what? Isti'dhan. Salamu alaykum. Adkhul. Salamu alaykum. Peace be upon him. Shall I come in? You don't say come in, can I come in? Salamu alaykum. Okay. And when you come in the house, what do you say? Bismillah, of course, don't you? Otherwise the shaitan will have night, bed and breakfast will have. Say, Bismillah. So he said, he knocked. So he said, Assalamu alaikum. Shall I come in? Nobody had answered. He did not answer. Assalamu alaikum the second time. Shall I come in? Nobody had answered. Assalamu alaikum. He did not answer. Now, the Prophet ﷺ is the Prophet, the head of the state. He would have been entitled to say, okay, he's not letting me as a prophet of Allah to come in. No matter what his excuse is, he must be a munafiq. He's a prophet of Allah, he's the head of the state, and he's not knocking. And he could have had a revelation to tell him that Sa'd ibn Ubadah is what? He's able to listen to him. He could hear you. So I could have had a revelation to tell him that. But that's beside the point. This is what our Prophet ﷺ wants to teach us. 3 times, and he's the Prophet of Allah, nobody else. And who can say that the companions would not let the Prophet of Allah to come in, regardless of what their situation is? And that is why when the Prophet of Allah went to a door called Babu Itbam, and he called for a companion from Bani Farrukh, the tribe. This man, he did not wait for the second time, he just came out. And he came out with wash dripping from him. So some of the companions were there, said, لَقَدْ عَجِلْنَا رَجُلًا, I think we have made the man to come out fast. That he had just a sexual intercourse with his wife, with coming out, putting himself on his clothes just to see the Prophet of Allah. They don't want the Prophet ﷺ to wait for a second. So he was with his wife, he left her, got out to see the Prophet of Allah. So he said, so Prophet ﷺ, he said, we have made it, we made the man to, not to finish his enjoyment basically, but to finish what he wanted to finish. لَقَدْ عَجِلْنَا الرَّجُلَ. Here Sa'd ibn Ubadah, he just showed us that he was listening. Why didn't he ask? So Prophet of Allah, as soon as he said the 3rd time, he left. قَضَيْنَا مَا عَلَيْنَا. We have done what we're supposed to do. Then he left. Then Sa'd followed up with him, they caught up with him. He said, Messenger of Allah, by the one who sent you with the truth, not a single time that you have passed salutation upon me, except that I was listening. I could hear you. And I also replied upon you. I said, Wa alaykum as-salam. But like this, Wa alaykum as-salam. That means in a way that you can't hear it. Why? Because I want you to pass more salutation upon me. I want you to pass salutation upon me and upon my house, inhabitant, my household, my family. I'm asking, did Sa'd ibn Ubadah knew that the Prophet of Allah, he would pass only 3 and then he would leave? No, he didn't. Because if he knew, he would have at least at the 3rd time when he said what? Alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullah. But the Prophet of Allah what? Left. He didn't know. If he knew, he would have done the 3rd time. We just meet him once, twice, and the 3rd time, wa alaykum as-salam. He got now 3 times the salutation of the Prophet of Allah. But he didn't know. And that is why he followed him and he said, Messenger of Allah, I replied the salam. Okay, right, upon you, but not loud. Right, now, is that right to reply the salam not loud? No. Because the salutation is not just to reply the salam. We said, if you remember the etiquette, to reply it in a way that is not audible, and also it's not to scream the head of the person, or to scare him off. Somebody could just, Salaam alaikum, you scare him off. That's not right. So Salaam alaikum in a way, if you remember the Prophet of Allah used to say the salam, in a way that he does not wake up the sleeping person. And it is audible for the person who is intended to have the salam upon him. Now, Abu Musa said, after Abu Sa'id al-Khudri had told Umar al-Khattab what happened about Sa'd ibn Ubadah, and he sought 3 times. So he said, as the Prophet he said 3 times, he asked for permission, Salamu alaikum 3 times, then the Prophet of Allah left. This is where Abu Musa al-Ash'ari was concerned of this. He just wanted that bit to show to the Umar al-Khattab. So Musa said, Wallahi in kuntu la aminan ala hadithi Rasul. I'm a trustworthy regarding the hadith of the Prophet of Allah. So Umar al-Khattab said, verily I know you are trustworthy. I don't doubt that you are a liar, but I wanted to what? To confirm. Not only that, there's another narration where Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, he said, this is in Sunan Abi Dawood, he said, verily I don't really accuse you, but the hadith about the Prophet of Allah is a great issue. He said, it's a great issue. In another narration he said that I don't accuse you, but I was afraid that other people, they might say things upon the Prophet of Allah that he didn't say. And how true this is, O Umar. How true this is. May Allah be pleased with you these days, that the people have no consideration regarding narrating hadith from the Prophet of Allah, whether they don't know about it, or even if they know about it, they say, يُعْمَلُ بِهَا فِي فَضَائِلِ الْأَعْمَالِ. No problem as long as you're talking about the virtues of the actions and the deeds. You understand that? They say that if the hadith, even they know it is unauthentic from the Prophet of Allah, it is no problem to narrate it, okay, as long as it is not to establish a rule in Islam, like the establishment of the prayer or the zakah, but the virtues of an act, like virtues of a prayer. What are the virtues of the prayer? So no problem to narrate, here and there, a hadith da'ifa. And that is not the case. That is not true. There's conditions the scholars have put when you want to break up, when you want to say a hadith which is unauthentic. First of all, the scholars, they said, the scholars have two opinions. One, scholars like Imam al-Bukhari, you can't narrate which is unauthentic. You can't. So there is enough for you in the authentic. Why do you want to go to the unauthentic? The other one, they said, yes, you could narrate the unauthentic, but the following condition. Imam ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, rahimahullah, he states those conditions. He says, that is, the person, when he says the hadith, he has to say, qila ala Rasulillah. So it is qila ala Rasulillah, that means it's being said. Shaykh al-Albani adds one to say it as well, to point to the people that it is unauthentic. Because people, when they say, it is being said upon the Prophet of Allah, they don't understand this terminology to be a weak hadith. Number two, this hadith is not, got a narrator which is a liar. It can't be a liar. It has to be an authentic hadith where a person in the chain, he forgets sometimes. So he forgets sometimes. But a liar, that you can't narrate that hadith. So this is the second condition. The third condition, that this hadith cannot be to confirm a rule in Islam, but actually to talk about the fadail, the virtues of an action. So those are the three conditions. As Shaykh al-Albani adds another one, which is to stick to the people that this is unauthentic. If it is the case, implementing such condition is almost impossible. So we go to the first opinion of the scholars who say, no need to narrate what? Unauthentic hadiths. And I'm not saying just the normal people who say unauthentic hadiths. Actually, the unauthentic hadith runs on the tongue of those people who are called da'iyas. Da'iyas are the ones who are narrators of unauthentic hadiths. The normal people, very few. But the da'i, that line runs on the tongue like water. They say the hadith is unauthentic like water. They don't care. Especially the hadith that is an attractive one, which has got lots of meanings, lots of wordings. It's a 1-2 pages long, and most of those long hadith are unauthentic. And then the people will be very astounded with it. Never heard of it. Oh yes, wow, all these wows. They like this hadith, but it's unauthentic. Okay, especially those flying as well within the social internets, the social communications like WhatsApps and all of that. Be careful. Some of them are made up, some of them are in the books of the Shia. I have lots of the hadith actually, I should really rated some people that the hope that to mind to be truthful. Shia. Number of hadith that came to me, they said, what is this hadith? I could see this a Shia hadith from the Rafidah. Allahu Akbar. Right. One of the, it's not a joke, it's true. One of the wa'ad, he was saying, قال ابن الجوزي في كتابه الموضوعات أو روى ابن الجوزي. Ibn al-Jawzi is a great scholar. He was called the Wa'id al-Dunya. 60,000 from the people of the book embrace Islam through his da'wah. Man with great effect. If he talks, he makes people cry. A man who used to invest in his time, doesn't waste a minute. That used to write so much. He has no time for food. He used to make his wife to digest his food in the milk because he hasn't got time to chew it. A man who used to go to, even when he is in the bathroom, relieving himself, he would have somebody to recite outside for him, he could listen. A man used to write while he was on his back, on his phone, wherever he is, he's writing. Even he had to, there's a story about some of his relatives, he used to waste his time. Come and chit-chat. There's no time for chit-chat. So he said, I'll invest in that. I can't as well. I have to join my kinship. So because of that time they used to write using pencils, and they had to as well sharpen those pencils. And sharpening the pencils with a blade, like that. So he prepared so many pencils. So when the chit-chat relative of his come, while they're chit-chatting, they are sharpening his pencils as well. So he gives them the pencils, please. So they're talking to him and sharpening. So he's using the time, alhamdulillah. Ibn al-Jawzi, he wrote a book in which he had collected the fabricated hadiths. It's called al-mawdu'at. Now al-mawdu'at is a word in Arabic. It means mawdu' meaning it's been fabricated, and mawdu' means subject, the subjects, some subjects. So for the person who is unlearned, person who is not learned properly and ignorant, first meaning that jumps into his mind when he said al-mawdu'at means the book of subjects. If you want to get subjects out of it, you find in this. So this person da'i on the minbar, on the pulpit, وَقَدْ رَوَى ابْنُ الْجَوْزِي, in his book, the subjects, he means actually the fabricated hadiths. So he's narrating a fabricated hadith, but because he thinks that name means subjects. And his books are subjects. And this is true. I'm not joking, I'm not doing anything for you, I joke. Allahu musta'an. One of the people, which we know that he belonged to a sect where they adopt this opinion, or a group of people, they call them jama'ah, that they lie and they know that they're lying. But when you ask them, why do you mention hadith like this? They're saying we are lying for the Prophet, not against the Prophet. Do you understand that? We are lying to help the Prophet. They're not saying that they're lying for the Prophet. That means we're not saying something that is going to be belittling the Prophet of Allah. We are helping, basically. Subhanallah. We help the Prophet with lies, lying upon Allahu musta'an. Right? 497. 1074. Now.
Chapter 497, a man's invitation is his permission. 1074, Abdullah said, when a man
Abdullah ibn Mas'ud.
When a man is given an invitation, that is his permission to enter.
Right. When a man is being given an invitation, so you're being given an invitation, that means come to me at Dhuhr time. Or I gave you a card invitation, which I don't encourage making cards for weddings. And as I said to numbers of people, cards are a waste of money. Don't do cards now. Calls, cheaper. Number two, cards, they usually end up with printing Bismillah. And people will dump Bismillah into the bin. They're not going to really shred them like we should shred them, or, because got Bismillah. Number three, most of those as well, they would have drawings onto it. Those drawings are haram. Number four, from the disadvantage of those cards, that is, it is actually makes the person to make sure that he will give each one of the people that he had to invite a card. But if he forgot, there will be a break in the relationship between these two. You didn't give me a card. So this is another disadvantage, that the people that don't have a card, they don't come. So why did you come to my wedding, brother? Well, you didn't give me a card. Oh, I forgot the card. Well, sorry, I don't have a card. But if there's no card, if the card system has been scrapped, that man would have come. That one would have come. And those cards as well, they limit the people to come to the da'wah. Why do you want to limit, ya? Barakah ya shaykh. But that's the problem when you go into the, caterers and go to make a deal with a restaurant or whatever. We'll serve you 300 people. So you don't make 301. Brother, 300 people, food is enough for 600. Subhanallah. 300 and 300. And then they'll employ somebody on the door. Have you got, where's your card of invitation? He says, English system. Western system, and where's your card for invitation? That's not really, it's not really right. So if the person was not invited, he could be brought by somebody. Brother, I came. Shall I come in or shall I not come in? That's it. Don't come in, go. Come in, come in. Alhamdulillah. You go as well when you are upholding the sunnah. You're happy. But the community is not, these days, it's not like that. Community is also all to do with the social boasting. It's fake community, if you understand. Fake, all of it. It's not the real deen, the sunnah. So if this person being given permission that to come, he doesn't have to seek permission. It's an open door. So if you've been given permission to come to a wedding, you don't need to stop outside, wait and wait, because nobody will be bothered to come and let you in. You'll be stuck there for a long time. That's your invitation, that is your permission. And that's from the, look at the Islam, how far, how deep it goes to tell you about the system. This is an invitation for you, you come in, khalas. But the scholars, they said, there's two conditions there. Number one, that if you came on the time. So if your permission is to come at Dhuhr, you came at Asr, you need to seek permission. Number two, that if it is to do with a house which is locked, then if it's locked, then you have to seek permission. So if I invite you to my house at Dhuhr, you can't just knock the door, open the door like this and come in. If it's an open invitation, like for example, the door is open and everything, yes. But it's locked door. And I know as well, myself, that this person has got a wife, has got daughters and everything. So I need to seek permission. Now, 1075.
1075, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when one of you gives someone an invitation and the person you invited comes with your messenger, that is his permission to enter.
Again, this is just like inviting. If somebody had sent you someone, a messenger to bring you, if he comes with you, he doesn't need to seek permission. Okay? Unless that person who's bringing you is a child. Some of the scholars said, even as a child. You could bring him, even as a child. That means you don't seek permission. But the condition is still there. What is, if the house is locked, and even that child is bringing you, you have to seek permission. Because the house is locked. Wallahu a'lam. So we're going now to 1076. Again,
1076, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, a man's messenger to another man is his permission to enter.
Now, we have explained that as well. So, this ahadith is telling us, all of those ahadith, is telling us that the person who's been granted permission to come at a certain, he's being invited, that is his permission. If he's been sent a messenger, that is his permission. Right. 1077.
1077, Abu Alaniya said, I came to Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiallahu anhu and greeted him, but permission was not given to me. Then I greeted him again and it was not given to me. Then I greeted him a third time, raising my voice and said, peace be upon you, people of the house. And still it was not given to me. Then I went off to one side and sat down. A boy came out to me and said, enter. I entered and Abu Sa'id radiallahu anhu said to me, if you had asked more than 3, you would not have been given permission, because it is sunnah to ask only 3 times. I asked him about the vessels that had been used for wine. Whatever I asked him about, he said, haram, forbidden. I asked him about al-jaf, an old milk skin made into a bucket for fermentation purposes. He said, haram, forbidden. Muhammad bin Sirin said, al-jaf is a pot with a skin on its top to tighten it.
Right, this is again, to emphasize, which is the title, is that the title, which is the chapter, that is Du'a al-Rajuli Idnu, that is when you invite the person, it is his permission. Ataytu Abu Sa'id. Abu al-Alaniya, he says, one of the foreigners, came to Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, who was a companion. I said salam, and I was not granted the salam. And I made the salam, and again, he did not give me the salam. He did not give me the permission. I greeted him the third salam, and can I come in? But I raised up my voice. Here, the scholars, they said, if the person, he had knocked 3 times, but he's not sure that this man had heard the 3 times, is he able to increase the 3 times to more than that? Some of the scholars, they said, yes, if he has ghalabatul dhann, that means more likely that he thinks that the man did not hear it 3 times. He heard it maybe once or twice. Could he add? And then he said that بغلبة الظن, more certain, then you could do it. Other they said, no, you should not exceed the 3 times. The 3 times are 3 times, as the Prophet ﷺ said. Well, the opinion, which is the correct one, if a man, for example, told you to come and invited you, but the door is closed, you have to seek permission. And you know the person, he wants you. So you said 3 times, but you know maybe you think that he must have not heard me because maybe he's in the toilet. In this way, I could add a 4th time in a way which is different from the ways, in a way that I will be more likely for me, I will be more certain that he had heard it. Or in a better situation, which is to do like Abu al-Alani. First time, he said salam, can I come in? Nobody answered. 2nd time, 3rd time, he did not exceed the 3rd time, but the 3rd time he made it with what? Louder voice. So the 3 times is better than to make 4 times. But if you have to do the 4th time because you think the man is in need, because he wanted to ask you to come in, and you believe that maybe he did not hear the 3 times, you could add another one. Another one, but not another ones, a lot of ones. So he raised up his voice in order for that man to hear it, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Then he said, I went on a side and I sat down. So it looks like he's been what? Invited. Because if he hadn't been invited, what? He would have left. That's why he sat down. Khalas, 3 times he sat down. A boy came out to me. He said to him, come in. So I came in. Did he seek permission? He said he came in. Did he seek permission? Because he's what? He's invited. He come in. And Ghulam is a boy. Came in. So Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, that's why the Imam al-Bukhari wrote this chapter. Because of that, wrote this hadith, this chapter. So he said, verily, Abu Sa'id, if you had increased on the 3 times, no permission would be granted. That means because you have what? Opposed, contradicted the sunnah. I'm not going to let you in. Shows that, subhanallah, that's how the scholars of the companions, they uphold the sunnah. If you are a mubtadi', I'm not going to let you in. Bid'ah, no in. Come in, can't come in. Because so if you exceeded that, I would not let you in. He's threatening him. If you valid by the sunnah, alhamdulillah. So to tell us, well, what we have said, it's better not to exceed the 3 times. Because if he thought, I thought maybe he didn't hear me, and we get a 4th time, he would never have been granted the permission. So it is better to stick to the 3 times, but you could change the way that you've done it. So you've been doing 1, 2 on the door, I think we'll ring the bell, ding, or vice versa, ding, ding, the 3rd one, on the door. Okay? So the knuckles on the door to change from the bells, no problem. So he says, I asked him about the aw'iyah. Aw'iyah is the pots where people keep things in it. So for example, they want to make a dates juice, they put the date in it and they start making like a paste, and they leave it and they make juice out of it. Grapes juice, all of that's called juice, the extraction of those. So they used to put them in pots. And he's asking about the pots. He said, فَلَمْ أَسْأَلْهُ عَنْ شَيْءٍ. I did not ask him about any type of pot. عَنْ شَيْءٍ here, any type of pot. And it looks like he had named the pot, for example. I asked him about, for example, the top pot from the dubba, the pot from the skin, the pot from the halta, the pot. Number of pots. Every time you asked him something, he says haram. Until I asked him about the jeff. Did he say what is a jeff? Yeah. What is that? It's an open pot.
Old milk skin made into a bucket.
Well, jeff is it's a pot, but it's open, hasn't got something to tie it up. So they bring something else with a skin to tie it up. So it's open. He still said what? It's haram. See, the Prophet ﷺ, when the prohibition from Almighty Subhanahu wa Ta'ala came to prohibit the intoxicant drinks, the drink which is the wine and all that makes you drunk, Prophet of Allah, because the closeness to this, he prohibited the people to use these pots. So in the hadith, Naha Rasulullah sallam an al-intibadi fi dubba. Prophet of Allah forbade to make a drink made of such and such. He made lots of, any skin or any even a fruit, a pumpkin. You can't make a drink in there and leave it, because in case it will turn into alcohol. But the people has no alternatives. But the Prophet prohibited them at the beginning. But later on, Prophet gave them the permission. That's why Imam al-Bukhari in his Sahih, he said, the permission being given and granted to the companions, to the people, to use any type of pot, regardless, skin or not skin, after it was prohibited. So the permission being granted. So when they were, alhamdulillah, aware of a drink, and it was haram, which is haram, Prophet of Allah, he allowed them to put any drink in any pot, but he said the following. That is, أي مسكر خمر وكل خمر حرام. Everything that intoxicates you is khamr, wine, and every wine is haram. So whatever intoxicates you is considered wine. And you know that the wine is what? Haram. So if you had it in a pot, it did not turn into intoxicant drink, halal. But if it did turn into intoxicant drink, intoxicates you, that means it's wine, then it is haram. That's what it means. قال محمد, هي محمد بن سيرين, the narrator of the hadith. قال محمد, that is الجف يتخذ على رأسه, قال أدم, which is like a tie from the skin as well, to tie it up. Wallahu a'lam. And we stop here. And we give you the time for the questions for another 15 minutes or so. If you have any questions, please go ahead. Further.
When you knock 3 times and no response, respond?
A person, all the time, he should bear in mind that to be a person whom the people would like, if the person keeps insisting on something, then the people, they don't like him. And this is very important. So, he's asking me, Bilal, is a person, for example, knocked 3 times, allowed to phone? Now, phoning is not ringing, it is not knocking on the door. You could phone as much as you want, but I'm just saying, is it common sense that you knocked 3 times? Once, you waited. Twice, you waited. 3 times, you waited. Or you said, Assalamu alaikum. Waited. Assalamu alaikum. You waited. Assalamu alaikum. You waited. And then straight away, phone. Is it common sense? I don't think so. If you let it go for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then you ring, yes, no problem. So you could just go aside, and then you ring because the person is in need of you, you are in need of the person. But straight away, people, wallahi, we will try to avoid you next time. This person try to avoid you. Because he doesn't want, for example, to be, penetrating his privacy. Some people, they're disturbed. They don't want to be disturbed. So, I wouldn't say it's a knocking, no problem, but it's not common sense. And remember, we have to have as well common sense when we give you the answer. Which, it's not knocking, you could ring him. But as I said, one person, for example, he rang me. I put this phone ringing on the time on silent, so it kept ringing, and I was teaching until he went dead. He rang again. So I put like this on the thing to stop the call. So what do you call that? Red button. And the 3rd time, a person was like, look at how persisting this person. He's telling him, because I was in a meeting as well. Look, I said, well, this is the manners of our Muslim brothers. I'm just telling him the 1st time, couldn't hear him. 2nd time, I'm still insisting. So I said, can I answer that, please? Can I have a question? One of my brothers, can I have a question? I said, I'm busy. He said, yeah, inshallah, khair. You see, they expect too much from you. And you expect as well that they will get upset if you don't really give them what they want. That's the problem. Because if you can't really apply the sunnah. If you apply the sunnah like this, people, the sunnah is for them strange, and they might get upset. Okay. Did I tell you about the person who was ringing a person? He could see him from inside the house. He could see the shadow of his. Yeah, I told him about that. And he did not speak to him because what? He rang him and he saw him that he switched off the phone. They wanted to answer. Subhanallah. And boycotting. Doesn't talk to him at all. Allahu musta'an. Now,
Is it permissible
allowed to use a particular glass cups which are specific to alcohol?
Not allowed to use those cups which are specific to the alcohol. This is our fatwa Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah. This is from the tashabbuh bil kuffar, your imaging the kuffar. Now, Fadal.
The line before about...
You talking about the glass of wine, yeah. Now.
The line before about if guests come and you don't give him food and shelter, he can go to ruler and ask compensation of money from him. And here we learn that if somebody knocks 3 times and you just don't open, he has to leave. How we reconcile this in this message?
Yeah, the meaning that if the person, he is a guest on somebody, and he comes, and that person, he had opened the door. Do you understand me? But if he did not open the door and he is not there, or he was there but he was not able to answer the call for you, then you can't ask for your compensation, because the person didn't know that you are a guest anyway. So you could come, you could be a door-to-door seller. Alright? So if the person whom you have come to him, he knew that you are a guest, that you're entitled, say to him, I'm a guest, and I need my 3 days. But if you didn't open the door, okay, and you didn't know, he didn't know that you are the guest, then you are not entitled for that. That's how we, gather between the two. Now, Fadal. By the way, if you're a guest, you could just knock on somebody else's door. If you didn't answer, go to the other door. You got plenty of doors, inshallah. Now,
It says from the sunnah when we're knocking, say the salam alaikum.
from the knocking,
And when we knock at someone's door, say salam alaikum.
yeah, Salaam alaikum from this is combination of salam and isti'dhan, seeking permission. Because you could just say, Salaam alaikum, can I come in? Salaam alaikum, or I could say, knock, knock, and then he comes out and goes, Salaam alaikum. So, depending upon how is the person, because if it's a tent, you can't knock on the tent, can you? The house at the time of the Prophet, some of them are tents. And that's why they used to call Salaam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. They can't bring, for example, a drum and knock it with this. So what is the question? What are you asking?
I'm looking at someone's door and God says salam alaikum outside the door.
Yeah. Oh, I see, right. Well, the person always, the one who knocks on the door, he says Salaam alaikum, not the one who's inside. We said that a number of times. So. Oh, you mean repeating the salam? Yeah, no problem. Repeating the Prophet used to repeat the salam 3 times. You remember? He said 3 times now. So it is not the person who says inside Salaam alaikum. We said a number of times that the people, when they knock on the door, he says from outside, from inside, Salaam alaikum. So it's not right. Also, the person who calls somebody, okay, the person who's answering is not supposed to say Salaam alaikum. He's just supposed to be yes, and you say Salaam alaikum. Now, so repeating the salam, no problem. Salaam alaikum 3 times, and that is why the Prophet of Allah used to repeat the salam 3 times for the people who can't, or he can't. They're not really. He's not sure that they heard the salam properly. 3 times. Now, Fadal. Okay, hang on. The topic. Any topic? Yes. Have you got what problem in the back? So come in, okay. Don't send the back. Those people got no problem in the back, brother, because they told me before. You haven't, no, come in here. Come here, close. Fadal.
My question was, people go out in the morning, Bismillah, and then the house is protected throughout the whole day. So you still have to say Bismillah.
Okay, the person is saying that if, for example, I said, let's say, he said that when I get out of the house, Bismillah tawakkaltu ala Allah, hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Also in the morning, Bismillah alladhi la yadurru ma'a ismihi shay'un fil ardi wa la fis samawati 3 times. Prophet said, you're protected from the shaitan. Also, when I sit down after the Maghrib and the Fajr, after the Shahwat, I say, La ilaha illallah, dahu la sharika la, lahu al-mulku wa al-hamdu, yumtu kulli shay'in qadir. I will be protected from the shaitan. So why do I need to say Bismillah to come in? Is that what you say? This is why you implement your what? Your brains, your intellect into something which is divine. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's telling us that shaitan is eager and planning from day one. That is when Adam alayhi salam was created to penetrate your fortress. And that fortress of yours, the stronger it is, the harder for the shaitan to come in. So if this person had said what he had said in the morning, whether it is when he came out of the house, or whether when he finished the prayer, or whether when he had just said as a dua of a supplication in the morning, he might violate that during the day. He might break his protection. Because of that, the protection from more than one side is better. So common logic. If you know that there's a lion that's going to attack you, and you got an option to lock yourself inside, protect yourself with one door, or two doors, or three doors, or four doors, which one do you go to? You lock one door and that's it? Four doors. And this is worse than the lion. Shaitan, this is, oof. So I want to lock a door and a door and a door and a door. Keep away from him. Because one door, it could be a flimsy door, I could be hearing him. Might deviate from that. I want to be further away from him. So logically speaking, this is more protection. It shows you, number one, the shaitan is a war expertise. Oh, he learned his war from Adam. He's got all types of war. You haven't. You haven't run your expertise. He is an expertise. Number two, that I need my protection and I will not let go of my protection. Number three, the Prophet of Allah is the Prophet of Allah, isn't he? He had his sins forgiven, isn't he? And he's in Jannah, isn't he? But he never hesitated to stop saying this dua and other duas and pray the night prayer and stay up all night, some of the nights, and stay up most of the night prayers, until to the fact that his feet were swollen. Aisha said, Messenger of Allah, Allah forgave for you past and your future sins. You're still doing this? He said, أَفَلَا أَكُونُ عَبْدًا شَكُورًا. Should I be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So think of it as well, being grateful to Allah Azza wa Jal when you are making a supplication. Now, Jazakallah khair. Lock more doors until you protect yourself. Fadal.
Chef, sometimes when you knock somebody's door, a child might just open it.
No.
That you may, or maybe you know. Is there permission?
If the child, for example, he said, if I knock the door and the child opened the door, can I come in? Well, that depends. Number one, how old is the child? If he's 2 years old, no, sorry, you can't come in. That's a baby. But if he's 6, 7, 8, 9, and I know he's a child, he knows what he's saying. Yes, uncle, you know, my mother, she's in this room, you could come and your wife through this way. I could see that he knows what he's talking about. But simply the door is opened by a child and could come in. So it depends how is the child, and it depends who's inside the house, and it depends who is coming. So three things: the child, and you, and the one who's inside. If it's a man inside, the privacy is not as much as if there's a woman. If you are your wife and there's a woman there, it's alhamdulillah. But if it's a woman in her own and there's no mahram, even if she's going to go to the house, to the room, and you can't come in, don't go in. And do like the companion. Who is that? Who is that companion who knocked on the door of Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu wa ardah, and Fatima was there, Ali was not there, and he said, Athamma Ali. She said no, so he left. And the following day he came, Athamma Ali. Yes, Ali came. Why didn't you come in yesterday? He said, the Prophet of Allah forbade us to enter upon the ones who are mughayyabat, the ones who are, their husbands are not there. And especially if he is a close person to the husband, like the brother who's got access. This one, al-ham al-maut, he's death. He will collapse the society. Once the brother comes in, and then the husband comes and start now doubting his brother and his wife. What a relationship is going to be. He can't say it openly to his brother, and maybe he will open it with his wife, and then what was the companion there? You don't know. Homer. Okay, who is that companion? Radiallahu anhu wa ardah. That is, whom he had come to Ali ibn Abi Talib and did not find him, and then he found his wife Fatima. She said to him, it's not Ali. So he went back And then the following day, Ali was there, radiallahu anhu. He said, why did you come in? I trust you. He said, verily the Prophet of Allah prohibited us from entering upon the women whom their husbands are not present. Now, okay? Yalla, if you can Google it out now, come on. Yalla.
So the doorbell, is there like something which is not permissible?
Doorbells which have got music is not permissible. Doorbells which has got like the church bells is not permissible. Ding dong. Okay. The doorbell, I mean, what is it called? Buzzer. No problem. Now, I had a buzzer really. From once I will come out. Yes, uncle. Do you have any questions? Yeah, go on. No, uncle first. No, he's first. You can't be first.
I would like to seek some clarification regarding somebody in the time of Prophet Muhammad
Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
who peeped through the crack of the door and Prophet Muhammad said, I knew it was you, I would throw my arrow. Now, is that specific for Prophet Muhammad or does it apply
To anybody, uncle.
anybody?
To anybody. In Islamic State, of course not here. In Islamic State, uncle. I emphasize that.
If you do that in Islam,
There is no retaliation against you. He lost his eye. His eye deserves to lose its light because its sanctity is gone. Because it had spied upon a person who was not supposed to be spying upon. So it loses its sanctity or violable. It will be violated and it deserves truly to be poked. So if you've been poked, there is no retaliation. So it's a punishment, uncle. It's a punishment.
some people, I've been to Saudi a number of times, they're very hot-tempered. If you poke me in the eye, I will get burned.
Well, that's something else, uncle. If you think that you're going to be having somebody who is, mashallah, 6 by 6, peeping onto your door, I don't think you'll be able to go and poke his eye because they'll kill you. I'm talking about, we have to be realistic as well. That means Islam left it. I'm just saying, this is not is the deterrence. This is a punishment. Because some of the interpretation of the hadith say that Prophet of Allah just want to show exaggeration and deterrence. No, it's a reality. This is poke in the eye, as I said a number of times. Poke in the eye. And no retaliation in Islam. I mean, that man is not allowed to ask for compensation. No. Fadal.
It's related to money. We have a narration or written of Mufrad where he said that 2 ayahs that you read seek forgiveness. Do you recite those ayahs in 2 rak'ah salah? Is that how you do it, or is there a way?
Well, as I said, this is from the companion himself when he says that it is a sunnah. Some of the scholars makes it like from the Prophet ﷺ. It is not in the salah. No, it's not in the salah. It's not in the salah. It's in the normal. No.
So recite the 2 ayahs and
Yes.
dua, or just recite?
I haven't really seen the scholars or the shuyukh that I have met. They do that recitation of those ayahs. So I would stick to the Prophet ﷺ's more than I would stick to the companion of Allah.
Regarding the hadith chapter mission, the mission is to look. So if you're invited to some house, you can look wherever you
No problem to look, and he might take you as well to look around. Can you see my house? Takes you around, no problem. This is giving you permission. Now,
So we know the pot which is pot which is soiled with saliva of dog, how to wash it. But if saliva has fallen on the cloth, in this circumstance with the washing machine, how do we do it?
I said, the scholars who say that it is the clothes that should be washed 7 times, 1 with the sand, or according to our Shaykh, the 8th with the sand, so an 8th wash. We said that is an opinion, we don't follow it. We follow the opinion which is the hadith of the Prophet of Allah, إِذَا وَلَغَ الْكَلْبُ فِي إِنَاءِ أَحَدِكُمْ, that the dog, if he licked, okay, the pot that you eat with, you drink from. And the Prophet ﷺ came with this easy religion. Allah gave us Islam to be easy religion. Imagine this. We have to, the dog every time he licks, he close like that, you've got to wash it 7 times. and one with the sand. I don't think any washing machine would take sand, it will damage. Okay, so with the respect of the scholars who said that, we don't really think it's very right. The scholars who said it is only the part, that's correct opinion. As for the tongue licking your clothes, you just rip it once, clean it once, and that's it. And the dog's fur is clean. The dog, anything to do with the dog is clean except for the saliva. No.
The cloth is impure for the salah. It has to be washed.
It has to be washed.
Exactly.
It has to be not all washed, just washed where he had licked. Now, any other questions? Further.
Shall this one listen to the Adab on the radio? Also
Okay.
listen to the radio. And this is Muslim lady. She's a Muslim lady and she had a poem where her face was bound and had a lot of the skins came off and the white patches on her face. She said she visited a lot of doctors but she couldn't get help. And what she did was she bought this stuff the people of the country use, the material the people who make tattoos use. And she went to her house and she used it
To remove the
cover
tattoos.
her face, yeah. And she said it was almost the same color with her skin. And the people are asking now, but that's haram because these people of tattoo use it.
So what she did actually? So she's a woman. She's normal, or she's been. I don't understand.
She got burned.
Bandages. Burnt. Oh, she got burnt.
Skin burnt.
All right.
And her face was
Totally, she was defaced. I mean, her face was not there because of the burn. The skin is gone.
It's gone, yeah.
And then she did what?
She sought medical.
Okay.
remedy, but she couldn't get the help she wanted. Maybe,
So where is the haram coming from? The tattoo.
yeah, I don't know what the tattoo people use to
Tattoo liquid.
the liquid
The
they
ink.
use. I don't know
Black.
what they use.
Tattoo liquid. Medicine.
Oh, because she used the tattoo liquid in order to return her skin color back.
Yeah,
Hmm.
by herself. She applied by herself.
Return back?
Yeah, that's what she was saying for the radio.
Well, you didn't see it.
It's just color. She said she colored. And maybe I don't know the color. is-
Listen to me, everybody.
Yeah.
The medicine, seeking medicine is halal. But the medicine that you use is supposed to be halal as well. Tattoo liquid, if it is not alcohol, tattoo liquid is not pork or pigs, okay, then it's halal. The word tattoo doesn't make it haram. That liquid, liquid of tattoo doesn't make it haram. So if it's not alcohol, it's not pig, and it's not dogs, it's not anything. So seeking medicine, because she's burnt, and she's seeking medicine. Alright? That medicine is halal. نعم. طيب سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك